My name is Afro from AFRO RC. We are at my shop right here, Vancouver Island, BC in Langford.
And what are we building today?
We are building a very special car for you, sir. It'll be
nice.
The YOKOMO YD-2 SX3 Red Edition.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a brand new, fresh build. People might be just joining us right now. Maybe they didn't see the other videos yet, but they should be checking them out because at Afro's RC shop, he has a beautiful indoor drift course here. You can see off to the side. Hello, Jordan.
Hey, guys.
Hey, he is here also enjoying the fun here. You can see a 1/24 scale 4x4 course up along the back there, working on that. But the drift stuff is big and popular on Vancouver Island. And of course, here I am continuing on in the video series. Afro,
yes, sir.
A lot of people watching actually don't know what toe, caster, and camber is. Can you briefly go over that?
If you can imagine toe.
Who's got a tire? Anybody got a tire nearby? Here, grab your chassis there, Jordan. Thank you. This will be very helpful.
Yeah, this will help a lot actually.
And then
so toe, you know, in driving straight, toe would be, if this is pointing more out, that would be toeing out, and if I point it in, it'll be toeing in. If you have a little bit of toe out, it'll help you turn into a corner a lot, right? If you have a little bit of toe in, it'll obviously make the rear come around because you're slowing the nose down by crossing these two lines across each other. It's like skiing, right? If you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody knows a pizza slice.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So that'll be toe. Now, I can talk about caster.
Yes.
Which will be this top kingpin here and this one down here.
Okay.
If I lean this towards the back of the car, it'll make the wheel fall instead of turn.
Right, yes.
So that's good for a car that you need to do self-steering. You need it to help you steer into corners. You will create a little bit of more caster by moving this pivot point back towards the chassis, which in turn, instead of turning, it almost makes the wheel fall over.
Yes.
Right. And that helps a lot with parking. Mercedes-Benz has a lot of caster built into their cars for parking reasons.
Now, for folks that didn't see the last video, seeing a vehicle like this steer this way, a lot of people will say that that's not actually drifting because you can't do that in full-size vehicles.
Well, I can correct them on that by saying, yes, you can do this on a real car. There's two companies that I know of. One is YSFab. It's a European company. They make bolt-on kits for certain chassis, obviously. And then there is PBM, which is located in California and in Japan. They also make kits for cars. They've just released a Corvette bolt-on kit that allows you almost 100% the same. This is a 90, it's 85%.
85.
And that's it's doable with real cars.
Could you cover our last one, which is Camber, please?
So Camber, right? If you can imagine, for a race car that has a lot of tire that rolls around, and if you have a certain corner, you want to lean your wheel at stationary in so that when...
So it would actually lean in.
It'll lean towards the inside of the car, right?
Yeah.
And that way, if you're going through a corner, this one is now getting...
Yeah, more use, more traction.
Use, and... you know, this guy would also get a little bit more than usual. But yeah, as the car leans through the corner and turns through the corner, that helps. But within drifting, we actually use the camber so that I can have, at lock, a flat contact patch on the bottom here, and a flat contact patch for that, and for that corner, and the poor guy that's being hanged in the air, it almost has no contact patch at all. Which is fine, because you don't want this wheel to slow down what is happening here. You want no resistance here, because the weight has moved to these three, right? If you pull a little triangle, these three are now doing the job. This guy's just hanging in the air. That's why you see three-wheel motion within drifting with like Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Daigo Saito. Awesome. You see them blasting through the corner, and his one wheel is just dangling in the air. That is why.
So Jordan is making excuses in the back for not being all the way up with us here. He's doing his best to put things together. I'm not one to talk as I'm just handing things to my builder. Yeah, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So here is the programmable servo. World Champion 2019, man. What's the problem?
Well, I thought this was going to be on the other side.
No.
But
On this car, it sits on the other
it
side.
sits on the other side, okay.
Yeah.
I think you shouldn't have told him for at least 5 more minutes.
You would have got a layer of paint on.
What type of motor did you go with? It's different than mine.
It is. So I originally was starting to go with the same with yours, but I was having problems making it work on mine, so we ended up putting a McLean in there.
A McLean.
Yeah, and a McLean ESC as well.
Aha, so totally different.
Totally different.
So 10.5 turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much rocks on the track. It is programmable. Not quite as ninja as yours, because yours can be programmable from your phone.
Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
to tell you the truth, yours also has a Wi-Fi module that works exactly the same as the YOKOMO one. So yeah.
It's always nice to see different options on the table.
For sure.
Right? Instead of somebody
Well-
just seeing the most expensive, it's nice to see other options that are equal to or more or less.
Exactly, and you can do tons of different styles. We've got guys that are running tons of different motors that are just hand-me-downs or even a crawler engine. Right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just changing the gearing, right? So it spins better. So it works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right on. And you went with a different pinion as well?
Yes, I did. But that's the pinion I used from my previous car.
And what's the tooth count? Do you remember?
Same as yours.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
28.
28.
Here.
Yeah.
So I'll go one tooth back. If I
He's
can
talking
get it off.
about manually self-centering the
Yeah.
servo.
So if you take a servo and you know the location of this arm will have to be here because it's going to sit like this in the chassis.
Yeah.
I usually place it there, slide it all the way this way, slide it all the way this way. If it goes a little further, you go one tooth back.
Yes.
That's almost zero. Yeah.
Manually and easily done.
Yeah, if you don't have a servo tester, which I do actually, I'm just lazy.
Like most of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go like that. Right, that's one tooth back. But yeah, I'll start center, go here, it goes a little further.
I'd like to bust a myth right now.
Yeah.
See what is going on. Have you, as a hobby shop owner or as a hobby user, ever seen a servo burn out from just moving the horn like you just did
Definitely
now? No, me either.
No.
I was always told when we first started, don't ever move the servo. You're gonna hurt it. Burn it out. I used to
Oh,
hear.
no, yeah.
Yeah, no.
It must be an urban myth.
Listen, now I'm going to explode the comment section because there's going to be like 80 people that are like,
Right.
that totally fucking happened to me.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay, put the screw in here, take that out, it goes up top.
It goes up top. Do I need Loctite on this?
Yes.
Okay, so unboxing my radio on the side, and here's something I just noticed. This is Sanwa / Airtronics radio. Look at this. This is almost, there's no antenna on here. This is almost like Fly Sky's version that I've seen. But then look at this little neat thing. I've never seen these before. These little pieces actually are protectors for open pins. Apparently they come in bags that are very difficult to open. There we go. Look at this little thing. This actually fits over open ports. I love that. I should definitely have some of these in the crawling world for sure, so I don't have to have exposed ports on my receiver. That's brilliant. Afro, you've done an amazing job already. Tell me what you've done that we haven't seen.
This is your servo that's on this brace for your chassis, servo horn, steering linkage will go onto this ball. That would be your slide rack moved by this. Yeah.
Awesome. So steering servo in place up on an anodized aluminum.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All aluminum,
Super strong.
red anodized, stiff as hell. And the more stuff we add, the more this chassis will become stiffer and stiffer.
Every time I look away and I look back, he is a man on the move. Look at this. It's starting to come together real quick now. Front and back shock towers on.
That's right. And your slide rack is connected to
Oh, so sexy.
the servo. Oh, so nice. It's so nice.
Oh my gosh. That is so nice. There are a lot of people watching right now that didn't even know that drifting has come this far in the hobby for radio control. And wow, look at all the positions you can move your shocks to, everything. Wow.
Camber arms, shock locations. These are body posts here.
Now it's starting to make sense of why this costs so much money. I was wondering in the beginning.
Right, and then obviously, once again, your shock location for the front.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the little pins.
Yeah.
That would have your top control arm, and then obviously your bottom one would sit here between two plates.
Amazing.
Right there. Yeah.
Guys, what a privilege it is for us to be able to watch AFRO here put together this chassis for us. A very rare treat that we all get to share in this experience here together. I hope that has earned him a like click down below. How are you doing there, Jordan? Everything's a race. What's going on?
We're coming up to the shock towers. You know, I didn't have assistance putting these together there, but I got them now, and we're working on it.
It's rolling, man. You're doing very well, actually.
It's coming along good, so I'm about ready to add my shock tower.
Nice. AFRO is now working on the front arms.
Yeah, the top control arm. So these guys will obviously be the top camber, and your little spindle will sit in here with your wheel attached to it.
Sure.
Right, so this is the top control arm, and you'll have a low control arm here.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, that's what that is. The manual is, you know, the hardware is exactly the same as this hardware.
Yeah,
and
the size fits all, and when they're showing, it's full size.
Right,
for
and
you.
then the measurement, if you place it right over the picture,
nice,
would be exactly the same as the picture. Yeah, you'll be a couple of mil off, which is like a quarter of a turn or so forth. So, this is obviously your top here. We'll be placing the pin in the hole, which in turn goes through this guy. But before that, you have spacers. So if you space the arm back, you get a certain amount of kingpin or caster within the spindle. And obviously turn it around, different, you know, different caster once again.
Different settings.
Different settings.
Yeah.
Right. So I usually push these as fast forward as I possibly can, and then move the lower control arm to be in line with one another so that we have zero caster within the throw.
Right. And what you do to one side, you do to the other?
Of course.
Excellent.
Yes. Let me see if
we're running into a problem here. Trying to figure out how that steering servo goes in.
With the bottom, it's all canted and crooked though.
Oh, because this part here.
Yeah. See, it doesn't fit over the servo, it looks like.
Yeah, it is on an end slant.
So...
Does the servo go underneath?
Well, and
is he mounting on top when it should go underneath?
Well, no, it's up top.
Okay.
It's just...
Right? I want to... Did you cut that little nub thing off proper? But yeah, as soon as you put that little red plate that you have over there, as soon as you put that here, it actually locks this guy to the bulkhead.
Right.
Which will in turn pull it straight and make it all nice.
But I might not have cut the nub off on the wrong side. I might have cut it off on the wrong side.
Right.
I might have cut it off in the front, and that could be keeping me the problem.
Does your club entertain anything like people that bring in smoke kits that want to dump smoke out behind their car?
I have no problem with that. The more realistic, the awesomer. I mean, if I could get the flame kits, I would.
Nice.
I'd love to melt my hood on my drag truck for sure.
So you actually must, with your club, you must use magnet parts for your bodies then?
Yes.
Yes?
100% yes. So, you know, a lot of my club members are very creative, you know, and there's a specific one, which is Kurt, aka Bigfoot Life. He's very tall, with very long dreads and a lot of ink, but he loves building very custom bodies where things pop off and you can open doors. And
so cool.
Yeah, so if you hit him hard enough, his stuff will come off. And
he doesn't like that.
Oh, he doesn't mind. That's the problem.
That's the point.
He builds his bodies really tough by using a lot of drywall tape and shoe glue to brace stuff up. And his stuff weighs super heavy usually, so if you hit him, it's usually you getting into trouble, not him.
Still messed up, so then...
Did you figure it out finally?
Got it.
What was wrong?
Servo mount was mounted backwards, so when I looked at the diagram, it shows you to go one way, and I just rotated it, thus making everything go too far forward.
That's a failing grade for AFRO, though. He didn't see that, hey?
Well, I'm not English, so...
It's a great teaching moment, though, to look at your car and figure out what's wrong.
I'm trying to win this race. So now I'm obviously going to do the low control arms. I have them all measured up and ready to go. These guys will go through them.
Yeah.
And obviously the little ball end would sit on the end of this.
The ball end, yeah.
Yeah, that goes into this little cup where this cup sits in here. Now, this is how you would adjust toe on the bottom arms. If I put the hole to the outside, it has a certain amount of toe. If I turn it this way around, it has a different amount of toe. And then you have all these different holes for different toe settings.
You were working on a steering spindle, it looks like.
Yes, sir. This is your spindle that'll sit in this position right here.
Beautiful.
Right? There's a slide rack that will connect to it.
And of course, all the people that are just tuning in right now will be saying, where is the dog bone for that? But of course, being rear wheel drive, these are free open spinning wheels.
Yeah. So free front, drive rear. There's your rear.
Aha.
Right.
CVD, yeah.
There's the bearing for it. That baby goes in the back of that. It gets a smaller bearing here.
It is coming together quickly now.
So obviously I make a mistake.
Nice.
Because this ball needs to go there, that ball needs to go there, so that this can attach to that. The CVD.
How did you know you even made a mistake? They both look the same.
No, they're different sizes. I just know. But anyway, there is your CVD going into your differential, which obviously is going to be powered by the motor, spinning it, and there we go. We have rotation.
Yes.
We have liftoff. I always do this to make sure that these arms are free.
Looks like a crab.
Yeah. Wah, wah. But yeah, if it's not free like this, your suspension has to work harder, which means it's not going to work. But the nice thing about this specific chassis, they've cut this super narrow here so that you can have as much droop and suspension movement as possible. So it kind of goes past where it should be level.
Yeah.
So that if you do hit the brake super hard, the rear lifts up. Obviously, you'll see that in the video later, so that we can keep our contact patch on the road.
I had to steal it from him for a second, just so I can imagine drifting around this course. You know you want to play when. You've all been asking me to get back into drifting, and after kind of coming by, I wanted to support a local hobby shop, and you offered to put together a car for me. How could I say no? The guru of drifting right here.
And that's the thing. It's not any old drift car. It is the top of the line YOKOMO
SX3.
Yeah, YD-2 SX3 red edition.
Okay,
right?
and
everything anodized red and beautiful.
One of the things that really shocked me to hear you say is that you weren't going to put any fluid in the shocks today.
So no oil.
No oil?
I refuse to run oil in my shocks.
Why?
Because my surface, or any surface that's hyper slippery, oil's just going to slow you down. You'll have to make a million holes in these poor little pistons.
Won't it be too bouncy?
No, not at all. Right?
Uh-huh.
So imagine that's just a 4 micro hole. I
see it, yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see it. It's 4 small holes. Yes, we used to make these bigger, and then we used to make 6 holes, and we used to make 8 holes, and you know what? The oil slapping that and going through and then going back through.
No
we
good.
didn't need any of that nonsense. You know, that's why I got to the point where I was like, wait a minute, man, you don't need no oil.
Just springs.
You just need springs.
Amazing.
That's it. And a little bit of lubrication so nothing sticks, but that's it.
Can you give me a very brief history, and I'll ask maybe in years, how many years have you been drifting RCs?
I think I'm going on close to 30 years of drifting RC cars.
Of drifting 30 years?
Yeah, let's just, counter steer, 4-wheel drive. I've always had the motion of taking tires and putting electric tape, or I had a good friend back in the day in South Africa. He had a little online shop, Odyssey Garage, which is a very good friend of mine. And yeah, they started making a tire that'll fit onto your rim. It was more of a rubber compound than a hard plastic compound, so we still had a little bit of grip, but it worked perfect on any surface. And yeah, this is way back when.
I thought drifting only came out like 10 years ago.
No. We've been fiddling and playing with this stuff underground. Obviously all the race guys hated us because what are we doing? What do you think you're doing?
Sliding sideways, it's not a sport.
This is not racing.
You're ruining racing.
You weren't allowed to do this on the little track or anything like that. So yeah, they're kind of...
Don't you find it interesting through all of your travels that people say they're a part of the RC community, but then they seem to shit on people, but they exclude you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think once you're in the hobby and you want to be an enthusiast, then you're an enthusiast for all areas of the hobby.
Just because you like red more than blue, now they hate you.
Exactly.
Crazy, man.
That's crazy.
Right?
Well, I got the red one.
Yeah, and I have the purple one. And guess what? They're the same.
Yeah,
They're going
exactly.
to do the same job. They'll be built the same way, and they'll be sick sideways next to each other.
And as I'm going to prove in the upcoming days when we get to run this, you can have the greatest car, but if you're a shit driver, it doesn't work.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's all about setup and how you drive it.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah, well said. That is in all areas, in flight, in boats. It's all how you set it up. Jordan, sir, you're continuing to work away.
I'm getting there. I'm getting closer.
You know what I find interesting that the viewers didn't know is that this is your first kit build ever.
Right from scratch.
This is something you decided just to jump in and just try it out today?
Yes. Well, I've upgraded from the original, the YD-2E chassis.
Correct.
And I love it.
You're going to the big show.
But I want the big show. I wanted the big bore shocks, and I wanted the slide steering.
Yes.
Which makes a big difference.
Which is beautiful. It really is nice.
So I figured this was a great time to do it. We're building one for you, and I figured we might as well
build it at the same time.
Build it at the same time.
And that way we can help each other out if there was any questions.
Exactly. And I've had some interesting things. This isn't an incredibly challenging build in the sense that I've been able to do it, but I definitely have found that I put this on backwards, I put this on backwards.
Yeah.
But it's all manageable.
So if you can imagine, this guy would get the little silicone O-ring, it'll get this little plate that will be locked down.
You're holding the reservoir for the shock. That's what that is.
That's the shock body itself, right? So you have an O-ring which wipes the piston shaft clean.
Yeah.
You have this guy that keeps it in place and guides it. Magic. You build a piston.
Yeah.
Right? Now, a lot of people are going to ask what lubricates it because it doesn't have any oil.
Exactly. That's
right.
Yeah.
So, number one, I have this beautiful red fluid here.
Yeah.
It's top secret. All I do is I drop in before I put the piston in. I usually put a drop in there so it lubricates the O-ring down in there. Right? So I'll put one little drop. There she goes. Right, I'll make it run towards the middle, and then I'll place the piston in, right?
Yeah.
There's the piston. Now it's smooth.
Yes.
You can almost...
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
You can hear it, and it's super smooth. I can feel it smooth. Now I'll do one more drop here.
Is that Afro blood?
That's Afro blood.
That's what you...
Sorry, guys. But yeah, and that will lubricate this Dillerin piston against the wall, which is Teflon coated anyway. So yeah, it'll be smooth as hell. And that's what I do.
Brilliant.